Hey guys, how you doing? Today we're having a look at the Iranian F-14 Tomcat. Many people are surprised to hear that the most action the Tomcat saw was in the hands of the Iranians, and mostly during the Iran-Iraq War from 1980 to 1988. Iran placed an order for 80 F-14 jets from the United States during the 1970s. The F-14s were at the time the most advanced fighter jet in the world, and by January of 1976, the first batch of F-14s had been delivered to Iran and were painted in Imperial Iranian Air Force colors. Iran thus became the only export client for the F-14 in the world, with other US defense clients making do with lighter, cheaper, and less capable fighters designed with export variants in mind, such as the F-5 Tiger. During this period, Soviet Mig-29 Foxbats were still making a nuisance of themselves by flying over Iranian airspace and conducting aerial surveillance at extremely high altitudes. Iran ordered live firing tests of the Phoenix missile to be carried out as a warning. In August of 1977, Iranian F-14s shot down a drone flying at 50,000 feet. The Soviets quickly took notice, and Foxbat intrusions into Iranian airspace promptly ended. Following the Shah's overthrow in 1979, the Iranian F-14 fleet was left largely in a state of despair, with a lack of parts and an American arms embargo, meaning that in the early stages of the Iran-Iraq War, only a dozen of the 79 Tomcats delivered were combat effective. As the war went on, more and more F-14s were brought up to operational standard and saw extensive service in the war. Iranian Tomcats would go on to score over 150 air-to-air kills during the Iran-Iraq War, although these numbers are somewhat disputed by Western sources, saying these numbers are inflated. The Iranian sources say that these numbers are conservative. The F-14's ability to neutralize most Iraqi jets at 10 times their retaliation range due to the advanced capabilities of their missiles was a considerable asset in Iranian favor. The F-14s were so lethal that their very presence was reportedly enough to turn an entire Iraqi strike package back from an attack mission, for fear of the Tomcat's reputation. Recent reports have stated that the Iranian Air Force has continued to expand its fleet of F-14 Tomcats at a considerable rate, putting airframes which have been out of service for several decades back into action using more effective methods of reverse engineering. With most of the country's Tomcats having seen well under a decade of service, and some less than 5 years before a lack of parts placed them in storage. These airframes are essentially brand new, and with the supply of new parts, could possibly be fielded in considerable numbers, with an estimated 40 F-14 fighters currently in active service and mission capable, and some estimates putting this figure much higher. F-14 jets in the Iranian fleet have reportedly received over 250 modifications and upgrades each, including new radars, cockpit displays, electronic warfare suites, and other critical avionics, combined with the new AIM-54 derived Fakor 90 missiles, also known as the AIM-23B, reverse engineered to replace the AIM-54 Phoenix. It's important to note that these claims have also been disputed, and the validity of these modifications to the F-14 remains unconfirmed but possible. If these claims are true, it could allow Iran to bring the bulk of its long dormant F-14 Tomcat fleet back into active service. Alright guys, F-14 Iranian versus Iraqi Mig-29. Now as far as I know, the Mig-29 did not enter the Iran-Iraq theater until the later stages of the war. That would be 1987 to 88 kind of thing. And up until then, the F-14 was just absolutely feeding on Mig-21s, Mig-23s, 25s, and Mirage F-1s. So not too many combat sorties as far as I know with the Mig-29. You can see here we're on a one circle merge with them. We're climbing above them. And we're going to try to force a rate fight, because that's where I think the F-14 is going to be dominant over the Mig-29. Now it is important to note that Heapler, they made some changes to the flight model of the F-14, and it was overperforming a little bit in terms of how well it rated, and they've kind of reduced that a little bit. He Fox 2'd on me there, no chance. Didn't even track, and I had flares out, so. And so they fixed the flight model. The rating is a little bit closer to reality. It was definitely overperforming before. However, even with those changes, I should be able to beat the MiG-29. But in, I think, a nose position or a one circle fight or something like that, I think he still has an advantage. And honestly, even that is just because the F-14 is so difficult to master and to fly. You know, I haven't flown it in a very long time, so I apologize for how I'm flying here. But doing the best I can. We're in a vertical rate fight with the MiG-29 here. Got him locked up right here. No way I can fire a Sidewinder. And he's reversed that. And he's coming back down. It looks like we're trying to do that one circle fighting here. I'm just trying to stay behind him here and stay out of his nose. That's another thing. He's trying to climb over my nose and I'm trying to climb over his. Ah, come on. See that? F-14 just did not cooperate with me there. He's in a great position for a Fox 2 launch. Here it comes. Oh, thank God. I've kind of lost visual on him here, not gonna lie. Can't see him. 10 o'clock. I know he's in this circle with me, I just don't know where in the circle. There he is, I see him. He's just over that hillside, right over the forest there.
11 o'clock.
And we are making up the circle here. Looks like he's slower than he would like to be. There he is. He's got flares out, anticipating a Fox 2 shot. Way too high aspect. Way too many G's for me to want to fire that Fox 2. Here he comes. Guns. Oof.
12 o'clock. 12 o'clock.
Alright, come on, baby. Pull the nose up. Pull the nose up. Pull the nose up.
9 o'clock high.
See, it's just the F-14, man. I'm not as good. Like, if that was a Hornet, I would have sawed him in half right there for reversing in front of me like that.
11 o'clock low. We're on his 6.
And you see how he's utilizing the sun. He's just trying to keep me and keep himself in front of the sun.
Oh, he's dead now.
So I can't get those Fox 2s off. Anytime he peels out of it, he drops flares. And right here, I'm going to lock him up.
Keep up that flying. We're on his 6.
Come on, I can get a Fox 2 off here. Fox 2. And it goes for flares. Great. Okay, we're out of burner here. Trying to maintain that closure. Work the gun, baby. Come on. Come on. Oh.
Bandit is going down.
Dude, absolutely sawed him in half there. Great fight. I've never filled somebody up with that much lead before, though. He just got really slow right in front of my nose. Great fight. Valiant effort to the MiG-29. Alright, here we go with round 2. And so he did a really nice job there when I turned outside of his turn circle, and he reversed the turn into me. That was good. It's just he did that a little bit too much and ended up out in front of me and died for it. So it was a good fight. And the one thing I want to mention about the setup we have here is that we're carrying a full combat load. I'm actually carrying 2 Phoenixes, 2 Sparrows, 2 Sidewinders. And we're trying to simulate like an accidental merge, you know? What happens if you're just flying along and you accidentally see yourself merge with a MiG-29? And he's also got a loadout like that. And so you can see here, once again, he's trying to force that 1 circle right off the bat. He knows he's going to struggle in a 2 circle against a Tomcat. Although, honestly, the control of the Tomcat and the visibility does make dogfighting kind of difficult, but those of you that have mastered the Tomcat, you're probably doing pretty good in dogfights. It's a very capable aircraft in dogfighting. So you see him fire a missile there. It's pulling way too many Gs. That missile can't pull that many Gs, and not even a threat.
10 o'clock high.
And here we go, pulling up behind him here. He gave me all kinds of angles there.
12 o'clock.
Dive for the deck here. A very nice maneuver.
9 o'clock low.
He's going to reverse in front of me. He's going to pull up, so he's pulling out of my nose there. It's very nice. Looks like he may be trying to force some sort of rolling scissor or something here. And he's reversed it again. So once again, he's trying to do this one circle fight. You can see he's realized what's good for him, what's not good for him. And he's trying his best to force a situation that's in his advantage. And I'm over here behind him doing well here. He continues to reverse into me. He's just shooting out in front of me because he's doing it too late. And, oh. Okay, he's coming back. And at this point, like, he's just giving me opportunity after opportunity to maybe saw him in half. It's just not working the way he's hoping that it works out. And he may be getting far enough that I can maybe get a Sidewinder off here. Still a little too close. We're going to stick with guns. And those Phoenixes I'm carrying, I can feel them, man. They're making me heavy. I swear if I didn't have those Phoenixes, this would be a quicker fight.
2 o'clock low.
And I wish you could jettison them, but they're very expensive and very unrealistic for you to just jettison 2 Phoenixes.
There he is on a 12.
Alright, come on. And he goes into the vertical. He's going to get really slow here. This is my kill opportunity right here. Come on. Line him up. And splash one.
The bandit is down.
Good fight to the Mig-29. He put up a good fight as long as he could. I respect that. Alright guys, don't forget to check out Longshot's channel if you want to see more flying from him. Link in the video description below. Very courageous fight. Valiant effort. Alright, here we go with a quick Tacview, guys. We got me in the blue Tomcat, Longshot in the red Mig-29. Here's the merge, Mach 0.88, Mach 1 for me. And you can see that he opts for the one circle fight. Not a bad idea. And you can see he's getting a much tighter turns here. Probably cut afterburner in order to get this turn. And you can see though he's getting a little bit slow through that, you know. It's a nice tight turn, but he's kind of slow coming out of it. I'm down to Mach 0.73, so that's why my circle's huge. I'm still definitely way faster than I want to be. I really want to be sitting at around Mach 0.55 for the best degrees per second from the Tomcat. This is a huge problem. You see me doing here, this nose down like this. What I was trying to do was come around like this, and this is not a mistake I make often, but if it's in an aircraft that I don't really know too well, this does happen, especially with the Tomcat, because it kind of tends to roll to one direction. And I don't, like, when the Tomcat first came out, I practiced it a little bit and I was pretty decent. I wasn't making mistakes like this, but it's been a while for me, and doing things like this gives the Bandit all kinds of angles, which is exactly what you see here. Now, the problem for Longshot is that he pulls me right into the HUD, right? He immediately pulls me and cuts in and just lines me up, probably for a Fox 2 shot. But you got to remember that he's carrying R60s and I'm carrying Sidewinder M's. Those missiles are not going to be able to, you know, hit targets that are moving at, you know, 0.8 Mach straight ahead. If he fires here, like, that missile's not going to pull enough lead for a hit. So this is not a good fire solution if that's what he's going for. Instead of pulling me into the HUD, what he should have done right here is continue to fly my flight path, right? He wants to follow this and continue to sit behind me until he has a good shot. You know, and when you pull someone into the HUD, you end up doing what he did there. So fly the flight path and you'll end up, like, it's about patience, you know, you'll end up in a good position instead of just pulling the guy into the HUD. You can see that's probably what he went for. Didn't manage to get a lock or something, and now you see him. Oh yeah, so you can see he did go for the Fox 2 shot, and you can see here as he is forced to pull pretty high G's, bleed a lot of his energy in order to stay with me through that turn. Had he stayed on my flight path, right from up here, this is the perfect opportunity for him to just watch where I'm flying and try to replicate that. Fly that path right down with me, and by the time that I was here, he would be maybe here, and he would have such a nice Fox 2 solution from here, or even a gun opportunity maybe, right? But if you're gonna shoot from here, this is what's gonna happen. Those missiles cannot even remotely pull the G's necessary to keep up with that aircraft. You really need something like an Archer or an AIM-9X in this situation. All right, and so you can see here, he keeps trying to force a one circle here, possibly a loss of visual in this situation, I think, maybe, and that's what ends up doing this. He sees me here, reverses his turn into me, which is the right idea, right? Because if he flew, you always, not always, but you do want to try to turn into the Bandit where possible, given a situation. It's not a bad idea, like, because if he turned this way, right, and I was coming down this way, he was going to be in big trouble. So it was a good idea to turn into the Bandit and create BFM problems, which is what he's trying to do here. And unfortunately for him, he's a little bit slow on the reversal. You know, like right here, you should already be reversed. You should be reversing that turn, because it takes him way too long to swing around. Right, and at this point, I'm just trying to stay behind him through this. It's just a little too long on those reversals. This one wasn't bad, and you can see it looks a lot nicer than these ones. And you can see me just struggling with that Tomcat. It's flopping all over the place. And at this point, it's just, you know, I'm just staying behind him, managing the closure. And we've seen this in countless videos. It feels like a desperate thing. You feel like you're out of options, so you go for the vertical. You know, you're slow already at Mach 0.46. You feel like you've tried everything you can. You start climbing. A desperate attempt to get away from the Bandit. It is never the correct solution, because as you climb, you get slower. As you get slower, you become an easier target. And that's exactly what happens here. Splash one. Okay guys, so that's going to be the Tacview for today. Thank you for watching the video. Big thank you to Longshot for helping out with the video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks guys. Take care. Bye.